Hello, ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and for today's video, I'm doing my first trailer reaction in a long time. You just heard some random stuff going on in the background. I apologize for that, but this is going to be very off the cuff. I haven't done these in a long time. Historically, they don't do super well on my channel, but Superman is poised to be one of the biggest and most divisive and talked about movies in a long time. I personally am excited. I love Superman as a character, especially more in recent years, and I love James Gunn as a filmmaker. I know there are a lot of different aspects to this and how it's going to play out and everything, but I couldn't help but just get into this and just get my initial thoughts out there. So I have not seen this trailer. It just dropped as of the recording of this video. This is very last second. I realized that it was dropping at it's 1 p.m. my time. So it's very off the cuff. I set this up in the most rinky-dink way fashionable. As you can see, where my setup's kind of in the background there and stuff like that. Everything's just kind of a mess, but I really thought I would love to get my thoughts out there. So you might hear some background noises. You might hear my cats. You might hear literally anything at this point. But I just really wanted to get my thoughts out there and yeah, just talk about Superman. So let's hop over to this, and this is again my just initial raw reaction. I'll talk about it a little bit afterwards, but yeah, I haven't seen this yet. It just dropped, so let's check it out.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah.
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
Sure.
So they're definitely already together, and she knows, which is a good place to start.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for what some
it's
might.
A lot of fire,
it's a lot.
He knows that he's not well liked by
Today,
everyone.
The Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions.
Frank Grillo,
That's
there we
fine.
go. Some
My
Rick Flag
actions?
Sr.
I stopped a war.
So this
Maybe.
takes place early on.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman.
Oh damn, this guy's a
Consult with the
superhuman.
president.
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of
I
the
wasn't
United States will
representing
cause
anybody
more
except for me.
problems around the world.
And doing good.
Go. There's that save. I
would
love
question
that
myself
shot.
in the same situation and consider the consequences.
Remember
People were
Bravia
going
again?
to die.
There we go. Okay, so we know Superman, he's not a government weapon. He's his own thing. He's his own person making his own decisions.
Hey, buddy.
I like that.
Eyes up here.
Oh, that's interesting. Got some. Oh no! Not the robots. Crypto fights back. Luthor ends up in the Fortress of Solitude. Superman saving people is always a nice touch.
That's what makes you who you are.
Love Hawk Kent being alive and kind of still teaching him lessons, at least in parts of the movie.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it. He's somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
I love that. Okay. Is that it? Are we gonna get a final shot again like we normally do?
You have a dog?
Crypto. They're leaning into crypto, and it's so smart on their behalf to lean into crypto because that's going to get kids and animal lovers into theaters. So that's the trailer. We have it now. We've seen it together. It's still down in the corner here. I definitely have some thoughts. Look, I want to love this movie so much. I absolutely want to adore this movie. I love Superman. I love James Gunn. And as much as I did enjoy the DCEU, the Snyderverse stuff, it had its time. It didn't go over well in terms of reviews and stuff like that. It has its dedicated fan base, obviously, but its time has come and gone. Like, it's been years now since the last entry into that franchise, and it's time for something new. Now, I don't love everything Gunn is doing with this universe that we know of so far. Like, I don't love how he's keeping some actors and characters and not others. I think it should be just a complete clean slate, like right from the beginning, starting Superman just like they did with Man of Steel. Superman is the kicking off point. That's the start. We have Superman, and then everything else from that point on is brand new, is what I would like. Now, concerning this trailer specifically, I think that there's still work that needs to be done in the VFX. However, I'm not too worried about it. The movie's still got just shy of 2 months of post. And even James Gunn said himself a couple days ago that the movie's about 90% done. So there's still that 10% left to go, which could be some of those action shots that we're seeing, some touch-up of the VFX. And as we know from other, like, massive, major, big-budget blockbuster movies and stuff like that, like, people have said on record that they were putting the finishing touches on some of the CGI and VFX for Avengers Endgame on the day of its premiere, like inserting those final shots and stuff like that. So those things do very much still happen, so there's still plenty of time for some of that to be ironed out. My only real concern with this movie, because I'm loving the direction, I know a lot of people don't love the color palette. I don't mind it. I'm tired of the dark and gloomy side of DC. There's only some characters in my mind that should, like, always be dark and gloomy, like Batman, for instance. Superman is not the dark and gloomy type. I adore Man of Steel, but that's just one interpretation of the character. But Superman in general, to most people, is this beacon of hope. He is the Boy Scout. He is, he's the good one, right? He's the leader. He's the one who's always positive and has a good outlook on things and stuff like that. You look at any of the animated shows, you look at the Christopher Reeve movies, and many, many years of comics. Like, of course, there's darker Superman comics, but for the most part, the character is just about saving people, and again, being this beacon of hope and this shining bright light in the world that's going to protect everybody. And I think that he's nailing that aspect. I think that the color palette works. I love the use of the trunks because that is traditional to the character, and it was also David Corenswet's idea, saying that he's this godlike alien and he doesn't want people, especially children, to be afraid of him, so he should have the trunks. I love that aspect of it too, and I think there's a lot of good going on in here. I love David Corenswet as Superman. He definitely looks the part. I love most of the other supporting cast. I think Nicholas Holt's going to crush it as Lex Luthor. I love Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. She looks fantastic. And I just like the vibe that this movie gives off. There's so much that's basically just saying to people, hey, you didn't like what was done before, so we're going to do it differently now, where it's just Superman saving people. And there's a couple shots of people saving Superman. Like, yes, they are definitely still kind of going in, I don't want to say that Zack Snyder territory, because it's been done a million times before, Zack Snyder, but where Superman went and intervened in a conflict well beyond the United States, and because of that, he's being punished, saying that, you're, because you are American or seen as, like, an American protector, it looks as if you're acting for the American people, which isn't true and is not allowed. And then, of course, like, he gets arrested, and then there's people that hate him, and then there's other people, like the Justice Society or whatever that other little team is, that are coming after him. So, as much as there are people that love and adore him and are willing to be protected by him and accept his protection and everything, there's other people that hate him and think that he is, like, an illegal alien and stuff like that. And then, of course, you have the government side of things that wants to arrest him. You have the Justice Society working on behalf of whoever that either want to befriend him or want to take him down. There's all these other aspects coming into play here, right? And it is like that question again, like, should there be a Superman? There is. Which, again, not that Zack Snyder's the only one that I think did it in live action, but he's not the only one to have done that message. And I think that they're going for that again here, where they're showing that, like, again, Superman saving a bunch of people, which is something that Zack Snyder's version was heavily criticized for. But then there's people that are saving Superman, and they're helping him out of that crater after he gets beat down. But then there's other people that are throwing stuff at his head and just want to get rid of him. So there's a lot going on here. And that brings me to my main issue with this trailer and my main concern for this movie. There have been plenty of leaks. Some Gunn has been quick to shoot down. Others have been kind of left a little silent, which is a little concerning. But I'm worried there's going to be too much going on in this movie. And that is my biggest main concern with this movie. There are a lot of villains, a lot of heroes, and a lot of other characters for a solo Superman movie and for the first major movie of the DCU. I don't want it to be a 2-hour just best of series where we're seeing Superman fight this villain, then team up with this guy, then fight this villain, then team up with that hero, and then do this, do that. I want a Superman movie. I want to dive into Superman as a person, as Clark Kent, and see those vulnerabilities and those insecurities. And I want to dive into Superman in terms of the public that adores him and how he saves people and how he is this light and this beacon of hope. And I also want to dive into the naysayers and the people who hate him and want him gone and say, like, you know, he doesn't represent me, like hashtag not my Superman or whatever. And then, you know, that's the stuff that I want. So I almost would have preferred if we cut out the other heroes, especially because I feel like they could take a lot of the focus, unless they are just cameos, in which case it just turns into a cameo fest, which Gunn said he wasn't a fan of, so that could be seen as contradictory depending on their role in the movie. I get that he's trying to springboard a whole universe and not make just a one and done solo movie. He does want to lay the groundwork, and as we saw in the Peacemaker trailer recently, again, we saw that those other heroes, Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, as well as Sean Gunn as Maxwell Lord, so he is definitely planting the seeds for more there. I just don't know if Superman was the movie to lay it all on, because half the trailer is Superman. I'd say a little more than half, like 65-70%. I'd have to watch it again to get like an actual accurate number, but like, I don't know, I just want a Superman movie, like just a plain good old Superman movie, like Christopher Reeve's first Superman movie. I don't want it to be Superman featuring all these other characters. Now again, it could be handled with care. Everything could turn out alright. I might be reading into some of these things way too much, but that's where I'm at right now. So at the end of the day, this trailer was very similar to the last couple of trailers we got. I love the kind of newer rendition of that classic theme. I love seeing Superman save people. I love seeing people love Superman and see him how he's supposed to be portrayed. I love the bright colors. I love the trunks. I love David Corenswet and the rest of the cast, truly. My only concern is that this movie is going to be too overstuffed for its own good, which I think is a concern that a lot of people share. That being said, only time will tell, and with the movie being 90% done, even if these concerns did kind of blow up and that was like a really big talking point on social media, they're not going to change anything now. So hopefully it gets handled with care and everything turns out all right. But at the end of the day, folks, that was the official trailer. The other ones were like teasers and first look, but that was the official trailer for Superman. And now I want to know, what did you think? Did you love this trailer? Did you hate it? Are you on board for this DCU, this new version and interpretation of Superman? Are you a fan of James Gunn? Do you think he was the right man for the job? Do you absolutely despise Gunn? Do you think that he's a terrible choice? Or are you kind of in limbo where you're like, I like what they did before or didn't like it, and I'm looking forward to, or I'm on the fence about what they're doing now? Like, I'm hopeful, hopefully optimistic, being a little, you know, like, where are we at? I just want to get all your thoughts, folks. But as always, I thank you so very much for watching. Stay happy, healthy, and safe out there. And of course, from myself and the rest of the BAMTube team, thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time, and that's a wrap.